और बहुत बुरी है other people की life.
अच्छी है पर मेरे को नहीं चाहिए ना ऐसी मतलब.
अच्छा तो तुमको कैसी चाहिए?
मेरे को ऐसी चाहिए कि मतलब ये थोड़ा थेरेपी सेशन हो रहा है.
Don't have a social life because you want people to think that you have friends.
But ma'am, do you think after talking to so many people yourself, do you think happiness is easier to achieve at the top of the mountain?
All mental health work and everything, okay, the whole point is peace, not happiness.
Like if I die, ठीक है, and in the afterlife is like God is like, yeah, कि this is the list and this is your biodata and this is what you could have been. And if that is not what I was, if I have not given my 100%, then there's no point, ना. That's what I feel.
ये तुमको लगता है भगवान जी बोलेंगे तुमको?
Alright guys, welcome to the 8th episode of the Productive
Procrastination podcast.
Okay.
We have our first guest today.
So this is Nikhila ma'am, who's also my therapist. So ma'am, over to you. Introduce yourself, please.
Hi, my name is Nikhila and I'm a psychologist. The name of my clinic is iTalk Therapy and I am here because they called me.
So the thing is कि we were looking for a guest, we were searching for a guest कि like, you know, let's change it up a bit and, you know, let's have a guest.
We have apparently heard you guys are bored listening to the three of us chat shit all this while. So we've brought someone who actually knows what they're talking about.
Oh no, your podcast was great. I heard a couple of episodes and you guys are doing amazing.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
So we contemplated as to who we should invite as our first guest.
And then Raji was like, you know, I have a contact, you know, my therapist is there. And then that led to this.
That's how it's
And what better day? It's Men's Mental Health Day.
Right,
Yeah.
Let's go, guys. Yeah. So yeah, ma'am, actually, I was just curious. How did Raji, if you would like to start, when did you start going to meet ma'am? When did the therapy session start, and how has the journey been? If you would just like to let us know in brief.
Okay, so it started last year in July first week, I guess. So sort of situationship had ended, and I was not able to handle my emotions well. Like I was sort of having a breakdown, and I needed to talk to someone who I can talk to openly and unbiased opinion चाहिए था. So I looked her up on Google and went for my first therapy session, and it was crazy good. So yeah, ma'am, would you like to talk about it?
No, I'm not talking about your therapy session.
No, not my therapy session.
I
Yeah,
mean,
Makes sense.
that's against the code, the principles.
fair, fair.
But like, how is it having Rajveer as an interviewer and as a person overall?
He is an amazing guy. He is very quick at, editing, working, doing whatever is on the agenda. He talks and he works at the same time, I think simultaneously. That's one superpower he has. And he is an amazingly honest person to be with. I mean, you guys are very lucky to have him as a...
Agreed, for sure.
Backbone of her team.
He'll always show up.
Backbone क्या रही?
Everything, heart, brain.
I mean, he will always show up. He will always be there. Rarely saying a no. So, yeah.
Always uploads on time, huh? Always uploads on time.
यार full podcast पे delay होता
Okay.
What are we going to be talking about today?
So today we were actually going to be discussing more about mental health, about men's mental health, dive into how social media might have impacted men's mental health in today's generation, and a lot more discussions on, we had a few questions, I had a few questions actually on how, about depression, maybe clinical depression, how they're different, and a few other things that we'll dive into as we get into the episode. So yeah, I think we'll start with the first question.
Yeah.
Okay. So ma'am, actually this is something that I've been very curious about. I just wanted to know as to, so a person often asks themselves that, okay, I'm feeling a little not myself today. Everyone has their off days. So, you know, you might wake up not feeling in the right state of mind. So at what point does a person get up and say to himself, okay, we've reached this stage where I'm not feeling how I used to, and I need to address this immediately. What signs might a person indicate which he's not aware about, but he's showing, and at this point of time, he has to maybe address the situation and talk to someone professionally. So when do you think that might happen in a person's life where he, you know, has to start thinking, okay, this is not normal, I actually have to talk to someone. And yeah, and he's not really sure about it himself. So a few people might want to know as to, like, when have they reached that stage? What signs do they show? So if you might.
So, see, onset of depression is what you're asking me.
Yeah.
How do I know whether, I'm just on the verge and it's time, it's better I go now, seek help, and otherwise it's going to be too late. 3 weeks of sadness, 3 weeks you're sad, 3 weeks you're struggling through routine, 3 weeks of, and you should not wait for the 4th week, I would say.
Okay.
Because first 2 weeks feeling bad about something, or not feeling like yourself, or having some sort of a panic attack or anxiety. I would not call it a panic attack, also having some sort of stress and being able to deal with it. You can give yourself a good 2 to 3 weeks. But if it is, there for the last 1 month, 2 months, some people suffer through it for 6 months to 1 year. And listen, you guys, एक ना इधर tube होता है, just behind your skull. I'm not going to go too technical and confuse you guys. It's called the prefrontal cortex. जितना आप उसको खराब करोगे, वो खराब होता जाएगा. And your brain and your spine is not something which can be repaired. You can just arrest the damage. Okay, you can't really reverse the damage. So the more you're waiting it out, the more you're actually playing with your nervous system and your brain, the hardware of your brain. So the minute you start feeling that 3 weeks हो गया, 1 महीना हो गया, अभी बहुत हो गया, I am not able to brush my teeth, I am not able to do simple things like getting out of the bed and fold my sheets, or I don't feel hungry, or there is a spit in the stomach, or some breathlessness, and when it happens, my body is freezing a lot, or there is constant headache and loss of energy, complete demotivation, like कुछ करना ही नहीं है मुझे. That feeling, if it is there for a really long time, then I think you should seek help ASAP rather than waiting it out for 6-8 months.
Right. But ma'am, don't you think in today's generation, as far as I know, I've seen people use the term depression very lightly. And I think it may have been taken out of context because from what I know, although I'm not very aware of the subject, I know that depression is something which is very serious. And it's, I think people often confuse temporary sadness with depression or clinical depression. So if you could just differentiate between the two as to what is just being sad about maybe a breakup, but versus what might be a clinical, you might be clinically depressed about maybe the loss of your loved one or something which is much more maybe permanent in nature. And how, because in today's time it's like something happens, someone breaks up with the other in our generation and they automatically get up the next day and say, oh, I'm feeling depressed, which is not right, because depression is something far more serious, and the people who are actually depressed, I just don't think it's right on them. So do you think it's taken out of context, or do you think
Taken lightly.
Do you think it's taken too lightly, the word depression in today's time?
Okay, I would want to cut it in 2 parts. So there are people who label depression as a stigma. Okay. And it's a very real thing. Yeah. So you will have, even we had comments saying that, you know what, I have never experienced it, but bro, good going. Awesome. And I really applaud your strength and everything. And in one of our episodes, we have spoken about it probably.
We'll give a context. So guys, we have started a
Yeah, we have to
podcast,
give
the
that
GPodcast.
Link is in the description, guys.
Yeah. So the comments you're talking about were on
so
those.
in our podcast, which we have been shooting a couple of episodes with, so we got a lot of feedback where people were appreciating Rajveer, that he is so vulnerable and amazing, but they would not come up and tell their story. So some did, that yes, I did power through. Most of my clients so definitely did, because we have done the work already. So, but people came up and said that, wow, good going, very good. Like, हमें ऐसा कुछ है नहीं, but bro, good, huh? Nice. So that stigma is there, and if you have to really address that stigma of depression, then you have to first, be brave enough to make the call, book an appointment, and turn up for your therapy session rather than sitting back and applauding someone else. Okay? And then, the second part of the same label, depression, is that, people see that, अरे इसको depression हुआ था ना तो इसको बहुत sympathy मिला सबसे. And बहुत ज़्यादा प्यार दुलार मिला and all of that. So now, if I say that, then I can, have a lot of attention on me. So either of the things go in extreme. Here I am completely, in denial about how I feel or what I'm going through, and I'm, putting up a brave face. It's also called smiling depression, by the way. It's a real thing that you will see a person partying the hell out through the night, घर पे जाता है, and he's just
अंदर से depressed.
Doing some sort of self-harm or taking up his life. This is going a little deep. But, you will see so many cases. Like, the best example is Sushant Singh Rajput. Who thought this guy of all people, like, if you guys see, he had it all going. Sabko wo life chahiye, right?
Right.
But that is how it pans out. This is how depression plays. So there is one end where people are in complete denial of how they feel, and they're just cheering people who are actually seeking therapy, wherein there is one group wherein they're just gaining that sympathy. यार मेरे को depression है, मेरे को बहुत रोना आ रहा है, but they will not turn up for a therapy session on time. एक session they will take, 2 sessions, then अभी भी ठीक लग रहा है. Everything is fine now. So it should not be treated as a label. It is only a tool for diagnosis of the human mind.
Ma'am, regarding that point you said about the smiling depression thing, how do you make sure like this guy is actually like, as you said, Sushant Singh Rajput, right? No one knew, but like as a therapist, I mean, you must have some ऐसा कुछ body language का कुछ होगा, या फिर there's something you can make out.
The best way to find out, just ask them about their day. How are you? How was your day? How are you doing? If they're dodging, answers about themselves, all right, they don't want to talk much and they're just routing the conversation onto you, something is not okay. Because everyone likes to boast, everyone likes to talk about themselves. In fact, people wait for their turn to talk, they don't listen.
Three of us know about that.
Right, so enthusiastic people who want to, share their stories with their friends, their best friends, they will just wait कि मैं कब मिल रहा हूँ अपूर्व से, या मैं कब मिल रहा हूँ राजवीर से, and कब मैं, I'm sharing my day with them, right? True. So that is how it happens. So if they are not talking about how they feel, if they are not talking about what they think, or if they're not talking about their personal life at all, and they're just routing the conversation back onto you, something is not okay.
But ma'am, don't you think it could also go the other way, that you said that if a person is not too comfortable talking about his life, suppose he's routing the question back to you and wants to know more about you, but maybe what if the person is constantly just talking about himself but trying to convince himself that everything is okay, in a way where he's trying to portray his life as, okay, this happened in my life, this happened. He's trying to say all these great things that's happening in his life, but he's trying to convince himself that, okay, I am fine because all of these things are happening, but ultimately in the back of his mind, he might actually know that something's not okay. Do you think it could also go that way, where he's constantly talking about his own life, like just constantly talking about himself? That could maybe come off as, why is he trying to do this? Or never seen it that way?
So when a person is constantly talking about themselves, they're seeking attention.
So that could also come off as a...
So like narcissistic personalities.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a different topic altogether. Okay, we opened a can of worms here. Fair enough. But narcissism is very different from this.
But it can induce, like, it can... I've seen like people who are more narcissistic are more likely to get depressed.
Absolutely not. No.
I don't know, but I've heard.
So narcissistic personality disorder is a cluster B disorder under the DSM, latest DSM-5, I think, of American Psychological Association. So personality disorders are not to be confused with depression at all. It's like when it comes to our physical health, we only know bukhar or sardi. तो ये डिप्रेशन एंजाइटी इज लाइक बुखार और सर्दी, but there is a huge science, okay, and a huge classification, so many mental disorders.
Ma'am, I don't know, this just reminded me of my school. As any problem a person had, be it physical, mental, crocin दे देते हर बात पे. बुखार है, crocin ले लो.
Exactly. तो
Continue, I'm so sorry. Yeah.
So ऐसा नहीं है. So there is something called neurotic disorders, psychotic disorders, personality disorders, है ना. फिर anxiety related disorders, ऐसे काफ़ी सारे disorders है. Narcissistic personality disorder falls under dramatic disorder.
Yeah.
तो मतलब उस इंसान का, so there is this part in your head, इतना peanut size का, it's called amygdala. How do you want me to then?
No, I was laughing. इतना सा part.
हाँ, मतलब वो इतना सही है, but it is majorly responsible for regulating your emotions. And emotions like empathy, guilt, compassion, sympathy, they all come from the same part. So ऐसा होता है ना कि आप सिग्नल पे एक छोटी बच्ची को टॉयज़ बेचते हुए देखते हो. अब उस बच्ची का आपसे कोई लेना देना नहीं है, डिफरेंट वर्ड्स, डिफरेंट बैकग्राउंड्स, बट यू फील बैड. दैट्स कंपैशन, राइट. सो जब किसी इंसान का वो पार्ट खराब हो जाता है, ओके, then they are not able to empathize. Okay, so that's like an acid test if you want to identify a narcissist, may it be a male, may it be a female, it does not matter. That empathy is completely lacking, and only very less empathy in very specific areas. All right, which does not like cover overall aspect of the relationship. Like I might not understand what you're going through, and I still can empathize, right? That अगर तू बोल रहा है तो होगा यार इतना, मतलब you're saying this, so that empathy part is completely missing, and that is why it is very difficult to be with this person, because you are going to bring your authentic self to the table, and this person is going to mirror your empathy. Am I making sense to you guys?
Yeah.
They're going to mirror your empathy. They're going to mirror your behavior. They're going to mirror someone's behavior. But in the end, you can't feel that connection. And there is something amiss. So, देखने में बाहर से वो relationship बहुत perfect लगता है. But there are these small things inside which only you know, and where you know that there's a disconnect and you're not fulfilled as a partner.
Ma'am, so basically, what you're trying to say is a narcissist or a sociopath of sorts. That's a different story, I'm sure. But a narcissist is more likely to not feel depressed or get into depression, basically.
Is it even related, like narcissism and depression?
See, when your dopamine levels drop down, your serotonin levels drop down, that is depression.
Right.
So that can happen to a very specific part of the brain. All right, and this personality or behavioral trait can happen to the specific part of the brain. So these are not interrelated. Like जिसे बुखार हो सकता है उसका पैर भी फ्रैक्चर हो सकता है.
Makes sense, yeah, true.
है ना?
Fair.
But all of that said and see, the whole point is never ever hate a person or judge a person for their personality disorder. That's not the point that I'm making, because hating anyone is never going to be the solution. But you have to know your boundaries. कि आप एक cancer patient को cure नहीं करने चल सकते. It's the symptoms are never, they are never going to have that empathy for you, or they're never going to, they might try or whatever, but it's never going to be the same as with a person who is a very functional amygdala and who is able to connect with people, or who has a lot of empathy around. तो वो नहीं हो सकता है. That is the point that I'm making. They're not like connected or interrelated.
Ma'am, a word that you just mentioned, you spoke about dopamine. It's something that we've spoken about, and it's something that really fascinates me, because I actually personally didn't know that dopamine, depression is lower levels of dopamine. I wasn't aware of that. When dopamine reduces in a way, is what leads to depression, or is what depression is. I wasn't aware. Do you think there are certain things that a person does in his day-to-day life which might lead to reducing his dopamine levels, which might indirectly cause depression, which people can avoid? Because I we've discussed dopamine, and we've spoken about how there are certain things that a person might do which might reduce his dopamine levels. But according to you, yeah, do you think according to you there are a few things that people should completely avoid, which because it might lead to lower levels of dopamine, which might indirectly lead to depression?
Okay, so dopamine levels ऐसे अलग से काम नहीं करते. The system works in whole.
Okay.
Okay, so we cannot like treat the hormone in isolation.
Okay.
Also, you have to understand what is the purpose of dopamine in your head. What according to you guys?
Pleasure? Is it pleasure? I mean,
I think dopamine is a driving force to get up from the bed and do
It's
some
motivation.
get your shit together.
It actually gives you a feel-good factor, that feeling, which actually motivates you to do that thing, more.
When you accomplish a task or when you get some work done, you feel a sense of
accomplishment,
Reward.
you feel
reward.
that sense in the back of your mind that okay, I've gotten something done. I think in a way that's dopamine. But yeah, as you were saying,
Yeah, but then there's another hormone called cortisol,
correct. Yeah.
right? And that's the stress hormone. And if it is flowing too much in your head and it's kind of negating all the motivation, तो dopamine कम पड़ रहा है या आपका brain का burnout हो रहा है, so even if there is enough dopamine, one neuron is not communicating with the other neuron, it's absorbing or it's not staying between two neurons in the synapses for a longer time. Because see, this is neuron A, neuron B. बीच में ये न्यूरोट्रांसमीटर है. डोपामिन इज जस्ट अ मैसेंजर बेसिकली. वो फील गुड वगैरह वो तो हमारा परसेप्शन है. So the more time this fluid stays between two neurons, the feeling of happiness or that feel good factor lasts. Okay, but if there is too much of stress going on, okay, in your head, and you are not able to cope up with that stress, then automatically the serotonin levels go down, the dopamine levels, so you're overthinking or you're stressing about something else. So that is a major cause. So what happens is in anxiety, prolonged anxiety for a really long time burns your nervous system out. It literally burns your, because you're in the sympathetic nervous system response. And we have spoken more about this.
You can check it out on Zenji.
Yeah, totally. So, but for a prolonged period of time, if you're in that survival mode or in that panic state, then your body after a point naturally starts to respond by giving up. आपके thoughts भी वैसे होने लगते हैं.
Suicidal, you're saying?
हाँ?
Suicidal?
Suicide is बहुत दूर की बात है. But अगर बहुत साल तक you are not finding any hope, so the typical thoughts are no excitement towards the future, या fear towards the future, या सब धुंधला. ऐसे तुम लोग का होता है? You have been running, or you have been trekking, and like पहले तो एकदम एक्साइटमेंट में चलो अभी, एंड फिर वो पीक देखते साले ये आ नहीं रहा. Happens to you guys. So, but I am giving this timeline to you for a very small period. 1 घंटा, 2 घंटा, 3 घंटा. I am stressing you guys out to reach that mountain top, and your body can easily take it. I do this to you every 6 months ना. चलो अभी तुम तीनों चलो, पर चढ़ो पहाड़, उतरो, चढ़ो पहाड़. ये खत्म ही नहीं हो रहा है. क्यों बात करी हमने? क्यों? Why did we meet this lady? है ना? It can be so stressful.
Apur, you had a good point about, we were discussing about stress before this, and she just brought forward stress.
Yeah.
So would you like to?
So I read this book called The Diary of a CEO recently, and there was this chapter called Treat Pressure as a Privilege. So that got me thinking on the concept of eustress, right? So eustress is the stress which is, so there's eustress and distress, right?
Yes.
So eustress is the stress which is good for you, and when you put pressure on it, it makes diamonds for you, right? And distress is the chronic long-term stress which a lot of people face. So I was just thinking, Ki, what is your, how do you differentiate between what is eustress and what is distress?
Okay, so funny part about cortisol, जो ना सब लोग नहीं जानते हैं. Okay, हमको लगता है cortisol बड़ी बुरी चीज़ है, and नहीं होनी चाहिए, ऐसे नहीं है. Cortisol is also the curiosity hormone.
Ooh.
Do you know that?
Oh really? Nah, I didn't know that.
99% of the content that you're absorbing on OTT is based on cortisol.
So you're saying what excites you and what makes you nervous is the same thing.
I will tell you. Okay, we'll go a little deeper into this. Have you seen every story? It starts with meet cute, boy meets girl, someone meets someone. The characters are like, and you start associating yourself with 5-6 characters. दिखाते हैं तो एक character के साथ you associate. I can totally relate with him, bro. That kind of a vibe you get. Then you are hooked on. फिर उनकी जिंदगियों में इतने टेंशन आने लगते हैं, इतना स्ट्रेस, इतना माय गॉड, एंड यू कैन डैम, यू डोंट एम्पैथाइज विद एनी ऑफ द कैरेक्टर्स. कोई बैठ के रोता नहीं है क्या है इसके साथ, क्या ही हो गया. यू लाइक टू हेल विद इट, आई जस्ट वांट टू नो आगे क्या हो रहा है. सो दैट आगे क्या हो रहा है इज व्हाट, इट्स कॉर्टिसोल.
Oh, really?
Because you want to come to the dopamine hit of it, no? जहाँ सब मंगल कुशल हो जाता है end में.
You want to reach that end?
Yes, exactly. So that is how do you build a climax if there is no cortisol? तुमको फर्क ही नहीं पड़ रहा है ये कहाँ जा रही है, कहाँ रेड हो रही है, कहाँ पुलिस. नहीं, मैं बाद में कल देख लूँगा, मैं पढ़ाई करनी है अब तो. ऐसे अगर होता है तो then how will you ever dive deep into?
Yeah, for sure.
So oh my god, yeah, that actually makes sense.
Yeah.
all the content, dude, it's all based. And if you see now, अभी है ना हमको सादा like normal suspense से it's not hitting us hard. So now they're bringing brutality, a lot of it.
The Boys.
So that the Boys. I've seen the Boys. I like the Boys.
She's a huge fan of the Boys.
Yeah.
Amazing show, guys. Check it out.
In fact, what was that character? His
Butcher.
Butcher.
Love him.
I think this is a
Amazing.
perfect depiction of that. The amount of stress that he goes through and the amount of torture, and then eventually we just want to see Butcher happy
Yes.
because that will give us
Exactly.
that dopamine hit. Just seeing Butcher happy after going through all of that.
All of this.
But none of us like sat and cried for him, dude.
We just waited for Butcher to
Like,
kill Homelander. Finally, just kill Homelander. Come on. But yeah,
exactly.
my god, that makes sense.
Man, but in some cases you do empathize with the character, right?
वो दिन गए.
No, so if I remember when I was watching Neerja, if you have seen the movie, I cried, I bawled my eyes out because when she died. Because no, for Neerja only. Simsar was a terrorist, and Neerja is the. So I was like, because when she, because I don't know, I don't know if I related with her or something, but like.
You did. You could not say, like, you could. There must be some strong female role model in your life, to which you connected her hardships to, or her emotions, or her feelings. So something must have gotten triggered, and it is completely normal to empathize. But most of the time, we don't. There are some characters which actually resonate, and they trigger certain emotions inside of us, which are very relatable to us in our own real life. It can be either me or my loved one. And you connect, and then you empathize. But Butcher does not get us personal.
No, but if you take Interstellar, Matthew McConaughey, like the story was amazing. I did want the story to end, but I also wanted Matthew to meet
His daughter.
That's the point. That's what she's proving, right? Matthew went through so much throughout the movie, and we don't really.
We connect with him the moment he meets his daughter.
As soon as he meets his daughter, when we get the dopamine hit, is that conclusion of.
Yeah. So that is one sort of a eustress. Okay. So, but the main part is that eustress has to be there only for a very short period of time. Any kind of stress, you're motivated to do something, and there is just jittery butterflies. In the tummy. You remember the first time I and Rajveer were, even deciding or formalizing this idea that. Yes, we will actually do it. There was a lot of butterflies, but that was not anxiety. That was not stress. So that is eustress, which is good, which I hope I could,
makes sense.
discriminate. And it's actually good. It actually gets you going. But this side of stress, where you are actually burning your system out, that would be regular stress leading to anxiety.
Ma'am, but what about careers that require that? Because that butterfly feeling for like, if especially, okay, I am not sure about other careers like the creative industry. You have to struggle for a long period of time, and you have to keep doing the work. while you're burning out.
That is something you're doing for the love of doing it, right? So how is
Right.
it burning you out then? If it is burning you out, it's not love.
Ma'am, but you also feel like you're overworking at one point. It is, you love what you do, but it's also you're doing 80-hour weeks, and you love what you're doing, but like in the end, it's kind of taking a toll on your physical health and all.
Elon Musk.
Elon Musk as an example. Even Rajveer as an example. Rajveer, like I asked him, ki, like, how do you manage these 12 businesses? How do you do this? He's like, bro, I love what I do. And
12 businesses.
Not 12 businesses. We over-exaggerate everything.
so like he has 5 to 6.
मतलब 6 है.
So like there's
6 businesses.
We'll plug the. Please go ahead.
not exactly 6 businesses. So I have this movie for pop culture page, Shrink Wrap. I am building this writers platform again. I'm doing this consumer psychology stuff, thoda sa with sci-fi. Then I'm doing the GPodcast. I'm doing the productive procrastination podcast. Then I'm doing the designers and editors ka community designer. So like
And the MPSTV?
Tesla, SpaceX, also baki.
And MPSTV, he's the VP of the drama club.
I'm the vice president of my college ESL and the editing head basically in my dramatics.
इसका तो शाहरुख खान से भी लंबा इंट्रो है. अरे बाप रे.
But ma'am, you spoke about social media in the middle. Where you just touched upon it. I'm actually, the three of us were discussing about this topic, and we were actually curious, as I think many people in our generation would also like to know. Do you think social media by any chance do you think it has had an impact on mental health, specifically like ill mental health? Do you think social media has impacted the mental health of people of younger generations in a negative way by any chance? Or do you think the two are not related? Because from what I have seen, I think at least for the three of us, what happens is on social media, you constantly end up comparing yourself with other people's lives, and obviously social media is portraying the best version of everyone's lives because they obviously are not posting the bad stuff that's happening to them. Everyone ending up posting the best part of their lives. So when you look at those stories and you look at those posts, you often think, okay, everyone's having this gala time and my life is not as good as theirs, which might make you feel a little bad about yourself. So do you think this constant state of comparison and just social media as a whole might have impacted mental health in a worse manner?
I think that social media is actually a great tool. It's not bad, but it's also important that you learn the laws of social media. You know, we have made all these gadgets, but we have not trained our mind to keep up with these gadgets. So पहले कैसे होता था कि एक शेर आता था, हम गुफा में भाग जाते थे and stress गायब हो जाता था, right?
Right.
So it was a physical danger that our brains were designed to battle. Now we are fighting the abstract. We don't know what we are really fighting. So if something is triggering your demons, which is there out there on the social media, you're triggered, right? So earlier issues did not get amplified, but social media, I feel the issues are the same. Like decades before also they were the same. Like fear of abandonment is a very real fear. Right? कि तुम मुझे छोड़ के तो नहीं जाओगी, मुझे छोड़ के तो नहीं जाओगी.
For sure.
And however we call it the nibba nibbi culture and बाबू खाना खाया क्या and all of that. Yeah, but in the end, our mind wants affection, our mind wants care, our mind wants stability, and that kind of consistency may it be in a relationship or may it be in at your home and okay, anything that I'm.
No, I meet me later.
Don't cut this part out.
Okay.
Continue.
Yeah. So our mind does want it. Okay. It has not changed, right? But when now I see that everyone is married around me or everybody is in a relationship. तो पहले कैसे होता था, like the time when I was back in college, it was a very limited group of 10-12 people जिसमें से 6-7 engaged होते थे, 3 वेले रहते थे. We used to tag along everywhere with 3 singles, you know, tagging along with all the couples. Yeah, 1 single, and the only pressure was that okay, these 2 are engaged or these 2 are engaged, so I need to find a guy, but I'm not finding a guy, so it's okay. Here I'm scrolling each and every of my friend.
Yeah.
You know, is engaged or you know, giving that. Photos on the beach, ऐसा सब करके, or they are, you know, telling how much they love their bae and everything. And now suddenly there is actually the concept of loneliness was not there in my head. But now scrolling through, it's taking a hit on me that this Diwali, everybody, and then I'm relating to all those 3 AM memes where तेरी तो girlfriend नहीं है, तू क्यों देख रहा है? है ना? And even if however much I decide that no, I'm cool, it's not impact, it is impacting us at some point. So I think that is one aspect where social media really takes you. Also, there are a lot of you know, negative thoughs I've seen as they write as memes.
Like the hate
And then
spreads
people
much
are
faster.
relating to that negativity, huh?
Like even the negativity part and the you don't know, BoJack Horseman sort of memes feed par jata hai. Then there's the hate part spreads faster. Like there was this Coffee with Karan episode. Deepika ke against hates spread like fire.
I know. I exactly know which parts you're talking about.
Like she spoke a very normal thing and it spread like wildfire.
In my mind. Yeah, continue.
I can't do it.
Yeah, so that you continue.
No, it's what you're saying is 100% right. So our social lives are like, so tomorrow I may have the best of the Instagram page, okay? And then, you know, things are not working between me and my partner and we decide to break up. Oh my God, it's not going to be easy to break up as well. Because लोग क्या सोचेंगे, समाज क्या सोचेगा, and everybody is going to laugh at us now because हमने सबको जलाया है. And there are memes which says that कि दुनिया जलती है तो जलने दो. तुम कुछ रहो और दिखाओ सबको. Stuff like I don't know. And I feel they are so toxic because dude, no one's watching. No one cares actually. You know, you're not looking at that post like you're just observing it. There's a difference. Like you look at this glass and okay, this is a glass. Now how this glass is making me feel is what I'm more, you know, focused on, what I'm like, you know, caring.
That's a very good point, actually. People often put like stories, they think so much behind what people are going to think when they see the story. And people are just going to look at it and move on
And
with
they're
their
going
lives.
to probably think about themselves that, अरे ये करना चाहिए मुझे, इसको मैं पूछता हूँ कहाँ से किया. Right?
Yeah.
You see a holiday ka picture somewhere and
feel
you
like
see
going. For sure, yeah, 100%.
how what would be your questions? कौन सा होटल था, कितने में तेरे को क्या बजट था तेरा, and what were the places, what sightseeing you did, that would be your question. वो कितना अमीर है या कितना गरीब है is the last thought on your mind. Even if he's flexing whatever he's flexing on the camera.
So regarding this point, like, do you think social media has made us more connected, but again, like, more lonely? Like, if you, like the loneliness epidemic, like people are getting lonelier. Men are not able to express themselves very well, right? So I was just thinking ki men's mental health.
You will be
I
different
know.
topics.
So let's talk about you want to talk about loneliness or men's mental health?
We'll go on by turn. So
Turn by turn. Achha, before I have to answer that question, you had a question which got cut off midway. So like overworking, you were talking about.
that one, yeah.
So, like your how it should not be a burnout. Remember this, and I say it in all my sessions. This is like my opening statement everywhere. I think you are guessing it right. Your first relationship is not with your parents. It's not with your brothers, sisters, your girlfriend, or your friends. Your first relationship is always, always, always with your own self. And if this relationship is okay, everything else is okay. If this relationship is going down south, dude, even if the world is approving of you and they're cheerleading for you, it's useless. because you're not happy with yourself. Okay? And that includes your body, that includes your mind, and if you are a spiritual person, then it includes your soul as well. Yeah? So if whatever you're doing and you're like overworking and burning out, then automatically your relationship with your own self is going to suffer and it's going to go down south only. कुछ अच्छा नहीं होने वाला है. Because एक कहावत है, you know, सर सलामत तो पगड़ी हजार है. It's a very old saying, but if you're physically fit, if you're emotionally and mentally fit, then you are a dependable person. चार लोग आके तुमसे चार बातें बोल सकते हैं. वरना, you know, you meet those people wherein you talk to them and they start their own only. You know, अरे मेरे साथ आज हुआ, अरे तू सुन मेरे साथ क्या हुआ. मेरे साथ इससे भी बड़ा हुआ.
It's a competition. किसके साथ ज़्यादा बुरा होगा?
Right. है ना? So it is not okay. Even whatever success you're achieving, whatever career you're achieving, whatever, because आपका वो company थोड़ी ना replace करके देने वाला है nervous system आपका.
Makes sense.
In the end, it just takes one resignation for you guys to be away from it.
Man, but if you know, like, you have to sacrifice this for a better future, it might take a toll on your physical health. But in the end, I know it's like, you know, क्या होगा end में जाके सिर्फ यही तो मिलने वाला. But it's for you, right? And it's for yourself only. But it's for the future. So, how much should you sacrifice for the future?
Hustle culture.
Hustle culture, yeah, you can go on that also actually.
Okay, so first of all, no, it depends whether you are hustling for a goal or a purpose.
Okay.
दोनों बहुत डिफरेंट चीज़ें हैं. प्लीज़ लेट मी टेल यू. यू कैन स्टार्ट विद अ गोल. तो गोल के लिए गोल इज़ वेरी मटेरियलिस्टिक, है ना. लाइफ पर्पस इज समथिंग दैट यू आर कनेक्टेड विथ एंड यू गो ऑन for an eternal journey.
True. You can ask Mom our favorite question.
Our purpose question.
Ma'am, this is our podcast's favorite question on every episode. What is the purpose of life?
Oh God,
That's a very
But
deep
this is
question.
for not this
it's
episode,
an
guys. Sorry.
existential crisis in India, मतलब.
Every episode we ask ourselves.
What is the purpose of life? Yeah.
Ma'am, what the difference between a goal and a purpose? You were saying.
Yeah.
What-
Yeah, so a goal, you can keep a short-term goal, you can achieve it, but you can't ignore your body, you can't ignore your mental health, or you can't ignore your emotional health, you know, based on the reward. Because half of the time, if you feel that future के लिए ये हो रहा है, तो किसी ने तुमको carrot दिखाया है, उल्लू बना रहा है कोई तुमको. Let me be very honest with you, कि अगर जो लोग बोलते हैं ना मैं 40 तक काम करूँगा, फिर मर जाते हैं. By the time they're 38, heart attack आ जाता है. Yeah, you know, they're in such a bad state by the age of 40 that they have existential issues कि अब करने के लिए कुछ नहीं, because your brain is used to hustling, it's used to all of that, you know. आप 4 दिन, you know, go and live in a city which is very slow. Okay, go to MP का कोई village, go to any rural village. 4 दिन वहाँ पर तुम लोग मुझे रह के पीसफुल या खासी खुशी ऐसा मुझे चढ़ा के नहीं. तुम लोग मुझे रह के बताओ. After one like I miss Mumbai. Mumbai is my जान. Mumbai is my love and all of that. You will start कि I miss all the, you know, fast life and everything. Right?
True.
You'll be like हाँ 4 दिन हो गया ऑलरेडी हो गया, 5वें दिन नहीं पापा चलते हैं अभी. Let's leave. Okay, how are you going to do it after 40? What are you going to do with your life? There's nothing to do. No purpose, nothing to drive you. तुम्हारा dopamine आएगा किधर से?
Ma'am, but you spoke about the fast-paced life of Bombay and all that. Do you think ambition, like every person, as you said, a person should have a drive or a motivation or should have a purpose? Do you think like if a person is very ambitious in nature and they want to make it to the top, as they say, and they want to constantly, you know, get more, do better in their career and just be more ambitious, do you think in that journey a person is indirectly impacting his mental health in any way? Like by just being ambitious in nature and wanting to constantly, you know, be at the top, do you think in a way that's you're indirectly putting a lot of stress on your mental health, and instead of just being content and, you know, grateful, do you think ambition might be related to.
Rather than let's change the perspective. Can we change the perspective
Yeah,
of
sure,
this
sure.
question?
Yeah.
Rather than wondering that okay, ambition is going to be my thing, and I don't want to be peaceful. I want to be a hustler. I need to understand why is it that I feel that ambition is something that will get me somewhere. Where do you want to go? Right? So if I am under this illusion that my ambition is going to get me somewhere and do something for me, then after you talk to anyone who is extremely successful. I have spoken to celebs, I have spoken to many people who have been extremely successful. Uska peace के साथ कोई connection नहीं है.
Ma'am, but
दूर तक कोई connection
being
नहीं है.
broke is also like it's worse than being.
It's not a good thing to be broke,
Yeah.
but it is not okay to sacrifice your body, okay, and your mind for something that is so material that can be easily achieved. And you don't need so much of it. Like एक कार में आप 4, 5, 10 लीटर बैक सीट पे पेट्रोल डाले हो, फ्रंट सीट पे पेट्रोल के कैंस डाले हो, डिक्की में पेट्रोल, गाड़ी का टंकी फुल, चले जा रहे हो. What's the point of so much of fuel? उतना ही पेट्रोल भरो जितना तुमको सफर तय करना है. Making sense?
Yeah.
Makes sense.
But ma'am, what if you want to store more petrol for your
Then
next
you
generation?
have to find out why you want that more petrol. Is that a fear that you're trying to appease? Is that an insecurity that you're trying to camouflage? Or is there a deeper rooted issue from which you're running away?
But
by
ma'am, then
compensating.
if in that way, if you're saying that you should just,
Be content.
be content and don't chase more than you can, like this. But then if we have so many years to live our life, then what is the point if you're not trying to constantly get better and,
I agree.
seek
So
more?
you think that so many years mein you just want to beat yourself up and get better? Huh, Rajvesh? So you think that is how it is? क्या करने का है? Be better, be better, be better.
I mean, don't you think, like as ma'am said, the petrol example is perfect. Don't you think just securing more petrol, isn't that the purpose of life in a way?
Now it's the insecurity that we're not enough and we're on the way to maybe fulfilling our own purpose, right?
puts you, that fuels you, but after a point वो breakdown होने लगेगी गाड़ी.
What do you know? When do you know what your point
Yeah,
is? How do
yeah.
you know? Maybe
You never know unless you try, right?
yeah, you'll never know. Maybe you're capable of much more. You end up stopping way before what you're actually capable of.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. Yeah.
Maybe you're meant for 10 liters of petrol, you stopped at 3.
So I'm so sorry.
No, you go.
Yeah.
Cut through, but who told you that you have to fulfill, like you have to use 100% of your capabilities? You're a human being. Your capabilities are infinite. Your body will burn up using all of them. So who told you this? ये concept आया कहाँ से? That
Isn't that the point, to use 100% of our
I want
capability?
to know the
So if
source
I
of
go
this
if I go
point.
to heaven tomorrow, ठीक है?
Oh.
Which sorry, so if I die, ठीक है? And in the afterlife is like God is like, yeah, कि this is the list and this is your biodata and this is what you could have been. And if that is not what I was, if I have not given my 100%, then there's no point, na. That's what I feel.
ये तुमको लगता है भगवान जी बोलेंगे तुमको?
पर मेरे को तो ऐसा लगेगा ना कि like not being enough, that will eat away at me actually.
Ma'am, like I think there's this other thing. You know that imagine a portal opens up randomly in front of you, and like the best version of yourself, physically, mentally, walks through that portal, and then there's you, who's nowhere close to that. But you end up being grateful and not trying to reach that stage. But that's what you could have been.
Yeah.
Then, ma'am, wouldn't it be better to, I don't know,
Sacrifice a little bit.
sacrifice your maybe mental state to reach that?
There is an amazing experiment, psychological experiment, wherein they actually, gave kids, they put kids in a room and individually interview them, and they say that if you, have it now, you will get one chocolate, and
Marshmallow one. It's the marshmallow.
Right.
that one.
Yeah.
So, and if you wait it out, then you will get
Two marshmallow. Yeah.
Patience is a beautiful thing. It carries you long way, but the why of thing has to be very sorted.
That's true.
If the why is not sorted, then what's the point of you being the best version of you? Who is deciding these standards for you? So you have to sit down and think that why am I doing whatever I'm doing? So I'm a therapist. I want to be the best version of me, whatever, everything. But if I am not in love with what I do, what's the point?
Makes sense.
And then if I'm truly in love with what I do, then what's the point?
Oh yeah.
Then what's the point of chasing the word best or enough? Because I'm already in love with whatever I do. तो फ्यूचर का मुझे पता नहीं, but you will be wasting a lot of, see, you're risking a lot over here. Making sense? You're like risking good 10, 12, 15 years of solid youth. And you know, in the end, when you have you seen that movie Pursuit of Happiness?
Yeah. Will Smith.
Will Smith.
Beautiful movie.
It's a beautiful movie.
Yeah, amazing
So
movie.
he is a complete hustler and everything, but after he secures the job, he does not try to be the best version of himself. You know, because he understands that happiness is very, very momentary, and it's the hustle, it's the sacrifices, it's the small moments of joy, and it's the journey that defines you.
No, but again, if he got happy when he was poor, when he was like living in the bathrooms and all, right? Then if he was content, then
See,
would have been something
he in
completely
that
different,
movie
right?
was in a survival mode. Are we in survival mode right now? We are not. He was actually like in a survival mode, and the kind of, you can go back and ask your parents the kind of things that we do for our kids. Oh my God, it's crazy. So when you have a small child to take care of, you're going to go all the way, and that is not the point. You're not in survival mode right now. You are in the thriving mode. In fact, this generation is so beautiful. I believe that all of you are in a very beautiful thriving mode. You have access to information about which we had no knowledge of back in time.
okay.
But ma'am, also like when we speak about trying to reach our best selves and stuff, maybe a few people, like personally, even I do, I know even they do. I think it might not be personally for us, but it's more for the
future,
people that
yeah.
love us or for the other people. Like I would personally want to really make it not for myself, but to see that pride in my mom's eyes or in my dad's eyes, or maybe when I reach that certain age, even for my children. So like if I'm not ambitious or if I'm not trying to constantly get better, then I feel like I'm letting them down more than I'm letting myself down. So I mean, I would personally do it for them, not for myself. But I don't know. I think
Don't do it. You'll spoil your relationship with your parents like this. This is a very bad idea. I will tell you why. Okay, I have my reasons. First thing, now go back and ask your mom, what does she expect of you? She will be like, "Beta, tu kush rahe."
Yeah. Makes sense.
They don't want you to collect all your school में जितना खर्चा किया है, college में सारा पैसा हमको वापस दो.
yeah.
No parent
They
thinks
don't
like
care.
that.
Yeah, I know, but
They are not that selfish. None of us are that selfish, okay? Parents are always giving, and they want to see their child happy. No parent wants to see their child, down or desolated or, not in their prime or not happy with whatever they're doing. Makes sense?
Yeah.
So your parents don't want you to live life to, see their approval or to please them. They want you to live your life so that you'll be happy. Seeing you happy, they're like, wow, this was all Vasool, this was all worth. It's amazing. He's happy. Our son
ma'am,
is
do you
happy.
think?
Just
Yeah, okay, continue.
just to finish, but okay. But if I do engineering to please my parents,
It's their dream. Yeah, it's
and
not
I
yours.
want to be a chef,
Yeah.
and then my dad, my mom, they're like, their eyes are shining with pride. It's amazing. But I'm feeling crappy about myself within. And over a period, doing the job in the software company, years together, there will come a point where I'm going to resent them. इनके कहने पे मैंने इतने साल किए, and then the standards will be very high to please me now. Papa, you have to do this. I did engineering field.
Yeah. But ma'am, do you think after talking to so many people yourself, do you think happiness is easier to achieve at the top of the mountain? Like you said, what they want is for us to be happy. But if at the top of, like, there's no top of the mountain as such, but if there is a top of the mountain in my mind, or everyone has their own where they want to reach, do you think it's easier to be happy when you're there?
Of course, it is easy. Who does not like material wealth? I mean, you have a posh car, you have a good bungalow, you have got girls running after you, seeing your money. It's an amazing feeling. But you are confusing mental health, okay? The core of all mental health work and everything, okay? The whole point is peace, not happiness.
Contentment.
Yeah.
Fulfillment.
Because that material thing, when you're talking about happiness, you're talking about something external that is, pumping me up, pumping my hormones up in my head, and it's going to be temporary, and every time you're going to need a higher dose. है ना? Like we were just talking about the boys and the brutality, because अभी normal suspense हमको मज़ा नहीं आ रहा. Normal ghost movies are not doing that. So I need one level up, and it will go in infinity. So you can chase it. It's a good choice.
Yeah.
But how long are you going to chase it? Because after a point, you're going to feel tired. You will just have to, up your game every time. कि चलो आज मैंने ले ली Honda City. अभी मुझे चाहिए Mercedes.
There's no end to it. It's like a black hole. It's like it just keeps sucking you inside. But ma'am, then how do you achieve peace? Like you said, like peace is what.
Being present, is this something like?
I mean, the thing is, the three of us, at least, I know we are very future oriented. We constantly keep on.
I've got that feedback as well.
We constantly keep thinking about
future-oriented.
our futures. You want to say something?
No.
And we're never really at peace or at ease right now. So, do you think just being, as he said, do you think just being more present oriented and just being present is the way to
is the
be
key
more,
to peace. Yeah.
is the key to peace as such?
How to balance it, I guess.
Yeah.
Balance क्या करना है?
The future
And the
goal or
present.
direction in mind, and the present work or the relationships that you are in, and the physical and mental being as well.
Okay, so how to strike a perfect balance between sacrificing stuff for your future. And still, okay, fine. First of all, peace is not something that is achieved. It's just there, and you go inward and you experience it at your own sweet timeline. All right. Secondly, when it comes to striking that balance, it is very important to get in touch with what you like doing. In the present moment, if you are able to do something continuously for 18 hours and you don't feel tired or you don't feel used up or you don't feel burnt out, like if I know Rajveer by now, so I would want to give his example that if I ask him to edit, ये भाई साहब 10 घंटा he will be on his laptop and he will go editing and he will not feel burnt out. But if I ask him to write content, no, you see his face.
I'm very bad at it.
मैम नहीं हो रहा है मैम नहीं हो रहा no I will do it tomorrow कल पक्का कर रहा हूँ मैं है ना. So if you are aligned with your core that this is who I am and this is what I love doing, and you are able to do it constantly for 18 hours and you base all your future plans on that one thing, then you have already struck the balance. Then the concept of time kind of elevates for you. आज कल था आज है कल भी यही रहेगा.
So again, the work 18 hours thing, right? You don't have time for anything else, right? According to society, if you don't have time for anything, you don't have time for relationships, you don't have time for anything, but you just love what you do. Is it still a balance to you, ma'am?
That is how Albert Einstein was, no?
But Albert Einstein also didn't have a
But if
How
you're
I explain
talking
this?
about, okay, so if you're talking about your personal health goals, I can understand. Don't do it for the society. Don't have a social life because you want people to think that you have friends.
damn.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Have
That's
friends
not-
because you genuinely want.
Have 3 friends, have 2 friends, have pakka friendship with them, have very solid dynamics with them. And be happy and do your thing. You don't need a huge social circle, you need a quality social circle. ऐसे सब जमा
Yeah,
करके
for sure.
जमावड़े में there's no point.
Yeah.
Right.
Making sense. So
Yeah.
if these are your personal health goals or mental health goals, physical health goals, go to the gym because that's your goal. Not because you want to, build a body and attract a girl.
Yeah, but I don't like.
That's why he goes, but. sorry.
The thing is, ma'am, I don't like going to the gym every day, right? So, again, the same thing, sacrificing the
But
present
he
for the
knows
future.
it's good for his body.
Yeah, in the future.
And he wants that body not to impress anyone else because he wants to look at himself and feel that I have put in the work and I got this body.
Yeah. So that's what I was thinking, like regarding Aryan's point, the parents thinking, what he was talking about is basically, I want my future wife to be happy, and when I see my kid looking at me, he's like, that's my dad, he's proud of me. That kind of is kind of fulfillment for me. So again, the sacrificing for the present, for
But
the
you
future.
don't know how your kid is going to turn out.
So that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to make sure that
He has a good role model to look up to. He's saying that.
His kid might, you want your kid, you want to become Shahid Kapoor for your kid, and your kid is a fan of Shakti Kapoor. तुमको कैसे इतना फ्यूचर का कैसे सोच लिया?
no, it's the fact that I have.
It is a very valid point if you think about it, because
completely.
he's-
I just feel like I have to be that version of myself to make sure that my kid looks at me is like, at least he's done something in life,
No, you need more knowledge on the topic.
I feel because
That is not.
Chitra in movies में देखा I talked to a couple of friends. They were like, when they come from this overachievers के families ना, they felt that need to कि मतलब कुछ करना है, and that also brings them down.
That's true. Yeah.
You putting your kid में unnecessary pressure that you have to do something to
It's not
be a
the
part
fact.
of this family.
It's not the fact. It's the fact that he's proud of me. That's what I'm saying. It's not the fact that he has to live up to me. I'm not saying that.
That will come eventually. You just be you. You just follow your purpose. Your kids are going to worship you in which ways. मतलब वो by default ही होने वाला है. ऐसे बहुत rarely होगा unless you're like beating the shit out of that kid and throwing them out of the window. They're gonna love you. Okay, just don't be abusive. इतना काफी बच्चों को खुश करना बहुत easy होता है. It's not difficult at all. You just have to be emotionally connected with them. You have to be a very good listener. You have to spend a lot of time with them. You're a good father.
So that's what it takes to these are the skills you need to cultivate in order to be a good father, right?
No, body is not something you need to cultivate to be a good father.
So if I am might be going on the wrong direction, but if I'm like 200 pounds and if I'm 200 kilos overweight, then that's a bad thing.
Let's
Right?
talk about this, okay? So first things first, as I said, your first relationship is with yourself. So if you are a dependable person, your kid can depend on you. But you are doing that only because you love your body. You go to the gym because you love your body. You want better joints, you want better ligaments, you want better tendons, you want, better muscles.
Makes sense. Yeah.
You want a better kidney, liver, spleen, good heart, which is able to take stress. You want a functional brain. You want happy hormones, endorphins, and everything going good for you, which makes you an able person, not just an able father. Right?
Nice.
Now that's thinking about the future, but that's also loving your body and doing it out of the love of doing it. Right? So if you see, I would want to tell this to you that I hit the gym almost every day, alternate days. Okay. Now I am not the perfect size 0 or the model type and everything, but I can take a bag of good 5-8 kgs on my back and I can climb a mountain. Okay, my normal deadlifts go up to 25 kgs in the gym today, which is decent for a person like me, given to the kind of stress that I have to deal with. My bones, my joints, my overall skeletal structure is going good. And I'm a very, very functional person. The energy levels are good. हाँ, अभी मुझे पता है कि मुझे fat burn करना है. Excess fat is not good, and I'm going to do it on my time. But I will never work out to look good. If I'm doing that, then I'll be demotivated because I'll be like, इतना वर्कआउट किया, किसी ने मेरे पिक्चर को लाइक ही नहीं किया, तो that's the whole point
Like
of
basically,
moving.
don't work out for other
Other people
people.
work out for yourself.
No matter if it's your future children or something. It reminded me of this film, not a great film, but Bar Bar Dekho. Because in that movie, like, he is this maths professor who sacrifices his relationship with his wife, his children, like, bachche ke football match pe he doesn't go and stuff. and उसकी wife का art exhibition and stuff, he doesn't go, and he's just putting himself down the line. He, like, in this dream sequence, he's seeing himself in the future, experiencing the future. Like, his relationships have gone to shit. Like, he is at Cambridge or somewhere, he's the best maths professor, mathematician that's there, but all of this has gone and he feels very hollow because he was doing all of that and sacrificing all of that. If I were to see my ideal person, it has changed a lot, but that would be someone with an amazing mental health, amazing physical health, not for my kids, not for my wife, not for my parents, but for myself. Last night I was sitting in my room having a talk with myself while journaling that I don't want to do anything for everyone else, because this Rajveer has been for himself from birth and he will be there till death. I don't want for my parents or my future anyone else. This is for me. I'm going to do everything now onwards for me, not for anyone else. That's
I think that's something that both of us struggle with a lot. We end up doing a lot of the things that we want to do for the people around us, and also the people that are not even on this planet yet, which is like, we are extremely future oriented, which is something that both of us struggle with, and we've been told that also. But I think, yeah, listening to you, honestly, it's made me think at least that maybe थोड़ा present oriented होना चाहिए. I mean,
like the change of perspective.
Yeah, like we need to start doing certain things for ourselves also, and not just for others' approval, or for my son to look at me and say that that's my idol. We should, like, it'll feel really good, but it doesn't have to be for that. It has to be so that maybe for yourself, and that's what a good perspective. Yeah, honestly, yeah.
And I just have to ask you guys that आप अगर future में खुद को एक तरीके से imagine कर रहे हो, like this way, having this and everything, तो आपको नहीं लगता है you're capping yourself a lot?
As in what way, ma'am?
Like probably, okay, your field is marketing, right? We just spoke.
Yeah.
Okay, and now you just visualize yourself as the head of some marketing firm, blah blah blah, and everything.
Okay.
And then
I am from that.
Not exactly what
Yeah.
different goals.
But okay, let's take this
Something
example.
similar.
Along the same
example.
career, yeah, along
something
in the
similar,
same field.
having
Yeah.
something, be
Yeah.
on some position, having business related, and in the middle of your journey, one day you sign up for a trek.
Okay.
Okay, you climb that mountain and you see the view and you fall in love. You fall in love with the nature. You fall in love with the. I don't know. I like trekking. Have you guys ever trekked? You
Yeah, I have.
know what I'm talking
I
about.
have, yeah.
You know that moment when you actually reach the top and there's this serene peace. It's not happiness. It's just pure bliss. It's peace, and there's no thought running in your mind, and you just have this feeling. We made it. I made it. And you just
Metaphorically, nahi, but actually you made it to the top of the mountain.
yeah, and
Literally you made it to the
and
top.
you soak in the view, because this is what you were struggling to watch or view for the last 3 hours, but you did not know it will look like this. You had no idea it will look like this, and you fall in love with that thought. Think about it, Apu, and you come down and you say, यार एक ट्रैकिंग कंपनी खुद की होनी चाहिए. हो सकता है कि एक ट्रैकिंग कंपनी खुद की होनी चाहिए. बुकिंग कराना है लोगों के, सबको लेके जाना है पहाड़ चढ़ाने.
मेरा आइडिया बुरा नहीं है.
See my point precisely. So as you take the journey, there are going to be so many stones turned. Right, so many cross paths, so many twists and turns in your story, and when you are like, "Nahi, idhar hi jana," you're capping everything up. You are deciding the end of your story before and only, and then you're struggling to go there when probably you're destined to do something very different in life. So you are not being open-minded as to where your life can lead you. तो आपको लगता है कि आपका happiness इसमें है.
But it's wow.
You don't know.
While you're busy planning for life, life is busy planning for you.
Damn.
But yeah, I mean, that makes sense, because all of us mostly, we picture this. We automatically decide this path for us where we want to eventually reach, and we've already mapped out this journey. That okay, ऐसा करना है. But then something along the way comes and it just changes our entire plan, and we start thinking completely differently. Okay, maybe this is not what I'm meant to do. Maybe life has shown me the sign that I'm meant to do something else, and we end up taking a different route.
But I think we already know that. We know ki like there's going to be ups
You're
and downs.
expecting that you might.
Life is uncertain. We know that. But like the thing is ki ma'am, I have this very. I might be insecurity. I don't know. But like, I don't want to be I don't want to be pushed into mediocrity, right? If you know the example of the rat race, right? So I don't want to be just another sheep, just another rat in the system.
But you're not. You have a different DNA, right? Your genetics are anyway choice by default unique. We all are different. But if you're comparing yourself, then you definitely are a rat.
मैं समझा नहीं. Can you like explain this?
Okay.
No, she's saying. Achha, okay.
Yeah, you can. Please go ahead.
No, I was saying that so you were trying to say that you don't want to be the 9 to 5 person who's like just like everybody else average. But what she's saying is if you are thinking that you are in that state of comparison with the other people, then you are automatically calling yourself a rat. But you're biologically and psychologically already different. You're born different. You're not the same.
None of us.
That I understood, ma'am. But the cult of mediocrity, if you understand what I'm saying.
Like every day he goes for a job. He is not very happy, but
Okay, it's fine. You know, I
it's
can
fine.
order McDonald's at night. I can have a chill time.
Okay, fine. Let's do it this way. So you don't want to be like other people.
No, I mean, in a way.
He doesn't want his life to be the same as
बहुत
everybody.
बुरी है
Unfulfilled.
other people की life.
अच्छी है पर मेरे को नहीं चाहिए ना ऐसी मतलब.
अच्छा तो तुमको कैसी चाहिए?
मेरे को ऐसी चाहिए कि मतलब ये थोड़ा थेरेपी सेशन हो रहा है. So what I was saying कि like ma'am it's just अब मैं कैसे समझाऊँ like the fact कि like I know I can be more than this, right? It's not that I want to up level in my career and all, but how do I explain the matrix like?
I understand.
No, she got it.
Exactly understand what you're asking.
Right. So if you go back to simulation, I think I'm going into too many topics here.
No, this is a very good question. Even I'm personally interested. Ask us.
So the thing is ki, like, again, going back to the metaphor of going back to God, and God is like, you could have been this. You're unfulfilled. Like, if I go, one day I went to a graveyard, okay? And then graveyard, I saw like so many people might have unfulfilled potentials, which they could not have, fulfilled. And that made me wonder, ki, bro, one day I'll be in this graveyard. I don't want that regret in my life.
So, okay, I get it because I personally know my last day. Huh? I
Really?
know, yeah, I know. I'll be healing someone that day. I'll be doing a great session. Yeah. Then I'll be like doing all the routines that I have. I have a morning routine, night routine. I'll be doing my meditation. Raat ko I'm going to go to bed and not wake up. And I'm going to sleep saying, "Arey yaar, iska acha ho gaya. Finally, iska, this session turned out good. Since so much time this person was struggling, I'm happy and I'm going to feel very satisfied."
Yeah.
So probably, that is the kind of thing that you probably want, but you don't understand what you really want, or you're confused. That I don't. एक होता है, देखो अपूर्वा, एक होता है being mediocre, and एक होता है finding your purpose and not caring whether it's mediocre or not.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Am I making
That's
sense
beautiful,
to you
yeah.
now? Yeah?
That reminded me of Tamasha, basically.
Yeah, it's a great movie. It's a great movie.
So basically, in the end, he's telling his dad, ki, matlab, okay, I'm choosing this race that for a long time you were telling me to choose this race, engineering ka to do this, product manager ban gaya, okay. I don't know which race I am in. I'm just बीच में गई तो first नहीं आ रहा, first, second, third, fourth, 10th, 15th कुछ नहीं आ रहा, बीच में आ रहा हूँ कहीं भी, last में नहीं आ रहा. And then there's this, क्या बोलते हैं, then I'm choosing my own race, which is the race of storytelling or dramatics or something. And then I know उसमें मैं first नहीं तो चल top 10 में तो आऊँगा. And even if I am not the greatest known person in that field, I am very happy doing that.
Fulfilled. Yeah.
Like even in 3 Idiots, Farhan says ना, बड़ी गाड़ी नहीं होगी, but मैं खुश रहूँगा.
True.
Yeah.
So probably you're somewhere in the midst of it, trying to figure that out.
I feel, yeah, I agree, ma'am. Like, honestly, like, life is so uncertain. Nah? That's what I'm scared of what the future holds for me. But I'm also excited about
it.
it.
So let's talk about being good enough, being the best version of ourselves and everything, right? You
Okay.
guys really are on the topic. They are not going to settle for a mediocre answer. So, fair enough. Let's understand the way our bodies are built, the way we are built, okay? Our core has certain laws. So there are laws of this body, there are laws of this mind, there are laws of this soul. The closer you come to that, okay, the more at peace you are. The concept of good enough and bad enough does not exist. Because what is good enough today is eventually going to go bad enough tomorrow.
Morality.
It's basic math.
Yeah.
एक
100%.
पॉजिटिव को एक नेगेटिव होता ही है ना टू बैलेंस द वैल्यूज आउट तो आप कभी गुड इनफ हो तो कभी बैड इनफ तो होना ही है आपको सिर्फ पॉजिटिव वैल्यू एग्जिस्ट नहीं करता है टू बैलेंस टू क्रिएट दैट बैलेंस ओके सो द मोर क्लोजर यू गो टू द रूल्स ऑफ योर लॉज ऑफ योर बॉडी योर माइंड योर सोल द मोर इन अलाइनमेंट you are and the more at peace you will feel. Right? Okay. So when it comes to your body, obviously eating clean, sleeping good hours, exercise, and following the healthy stuff as close as you can. I know one of all of you are going to party once in a while. You're going to go and drink once in a while, or you're going to do some stuff which is not very good for your body, which is okay. The point is not to beat yourself up for that. The point is to come to your core, closer to your core with each passing day. And you do it out of love for yourself, not because of any guilt. Right? That's like the irony of it.
Yeah.
You do it because you love your body, so you get up, you go to the gym. You do it because you love your body, तो चल मैंने कल रात ड्रिंक किया था, आज मैं इतना लीटर पानी पीऊँगा. To balance it out.
Yeah.
As simple as that. Okay? When it comes to your mind, you have to do a lot to keep your mental health up and running. A lot of things that you can try. Okay? May it be reading a book, or may it be learning a new language, playing a music instrument, go running. A lot of things that you can do for your mental health. And when it comes to your soul, the answer lies in spirituality. So the closer you are to your spiritual core, the more at peace you are. So when you go beyond in the grave and everything, भगवान जी इतना ही पूछेंगे कि how true you were to your moral values. तुम्हारा पोटेंशियल भगवान जी चेक नहीं करेंगे, उनको कोई इंटरेस्ट नहीं मटेरियल वेल्थ में.
But then again, the same question, moral values भी check करेंगे in the अगर भगवान जी क्यों moral values?
Because morality is not an option, it's a mandate.
Ma'am, but okay, if we zoom out, ठीक है? If we go from a very nihilistic perspective.
I love this version of Apurva. If we zoom out.
If we go from a very nihilistic perspective, nothing really matters. You're going to be dead in 100 years, and then the people are going to be after you are also going to be dead. So
Why not become a serial killer?
no. It's just it's a very gray area for me, morality.
Okay.
I'm a good guy, guys, but I'm just saying
I might not be.
I've never really understood like where to draw the line.
Okay. So if you are being nice to someone, you're not doing them any favor.
Okay.
Okay, I will give you a very basic example. Gratitude, kindness, सब लोग बोलते हैं, right? दूसरों के लिए नहीं है. It will just help you release a lot of oxytocin in your head. Period. है ना? If I ask you to take a knife and slice a human being open, लो तुम्हारी शक्ल देखो. ये
He's
भाई
living,
साहब.
going back to that moment. Going back.
You will tremble, you will palpitate, तुम कुछ उल्टियाँ करने लगोगे. You ask any MBBS student. Basic frog dissection में लोग उल्टियाँ करते हैं.
That's true.
आप तो मतलब एक इंसान की हम पोस्टमार्टम की बात कर रहे हैं. You will not be able to do that. Wherein you're not even killing, you're already slicing open a dead human being, and you will not be able to do that. Because you are going so much against the laws of your own morality, your ethics, your own mind. Your mind is not designed to kill.
Yeah, makes
It
sense.
takes a lot of heavy duty programming and a lot of trauma for a person to choose the dark path. कोई ऐसा पैदा होके dark path पे चलना शुरू किया है ना? I'm a fan of Joker, by the way.
Yeah.
And if you see Joker as such a huge backstory,
Childhood trauma.
Right?
Yeah.
Things
Yeah.
could have been very different if he would have had a normal childhood.
True.
Right?
Killers are made, not born.
First and foremost.
I feel one.
But yeah.
So anyway, to sum up what I was telling you, that when it comes to morality, you are doing it for your own good, for the peace of your own mind, for your own mental health. The ability to trust is actually going to reduce your cortisol levels. भाई साहब उसको फर्क नहीं पड़ रहा है, आप trust करो नहीं करो तो चला जाएगा.
Yeah.
But you are releasing lesser cortisol, you are releasing more of oxytocin in your head, and you are in general a happy person. जिस happiness के पीछे सर जी आप कितना दौड़ रहे हो.
One more question, last question. मैम टेररिस्ट भी तो खुशी है तो होता है मैम जब वो आपको मारता है. He is also fighting for his
Like the suicide bombers.
suicide bombers I'm talking about. Like he is also happy. उसके भी cortisol levels तो ऊपर ही जा रहे हैं. But what I'm saying is कि like in the end it's the inherent bad, right? What he's doing is completely wrong. From his perspective, he look, oh yeah.
Terrorists not
Good or evil पूछ रहा है.
Good or evil पूछ रहा हूँ मैं.
Sorry?
I'm asking good or evil का.
How do you draw? Where do you how do you say what's good, what's evil?
What's evil?
See, terrorist जो होता है, first of all, there's nothing called good or evil. We
Yeah.
are basing this on a lot of judgment.
Correct.
And
Thousands of years.
Perspective, yeah, for sure.
है ना. So कुछ भी जो मेरे लिए good है शायद आपके लिए evil है, और जो मेरे लिए evil है वो शायद आपके लिए good है. So we don't know that. But if you take any terrorist, no, they are क्या बोलते हैं, misguided or delusional people. So they have been brainwashed and convinced that what they are doing is so good that it will become a purpose for them after a point. You see the Twin Towers story, you will understand what I'm saying. This guy was really praying and everything. And he actually thought that he was, doing the work of God. No?
Yeah.
They are disillusioned, क्या बोलते हैं, delusional people. Yeah. So they are all delusional people who are very much convinced.
Yeah.
But in their world it's all right.
True.
And आप जिस तरह का सीड सो करते हो आपको बाद.
For sure.
So if you want to have a certain life and you want people to love you, then don't be a terrorist.
Wow.
That episode was great. Ma'am, thank you so much for joining us on this episode.
Felt like a
I
very
think
proper therapy session for the three of
you
us.
provided us with a lot of insightful thoughts and at least got me thinking a lot about many
Yeah.
things and about my philosophies about life. So
Changed a lot
thank
of
you.
my perspective.
A lot of
actually, on
perspectives, yeah.
outlooks
What a
on
very
life.
different view to what we usually
Yeah,
talk about, which
yeah.
was amazing, which is what we
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So, yeah.
All
We'll
right,
wrap it up.
so-
Thank you again.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yeah, it was great talking to the three of you. And do like, share. क्या बोलते हैं?
Thank you for tuning in to the 8th episode of The Productive.
Procrastination.
Podcast. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.